Day 2 of the 2022 Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic, and the first game of the Classic's finale in the consolation bracket between the Haskell Indian Nations University Fighting Indians and the Dakota State Trojans. So glad you're with us on the campus of Bellevue University, the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center on Coach Jerry Mosser Court. I'm Casey Roll. The first game of the day was a barn burner and a nail biter, but Doane defeating Mayville State on the women's bracket snapped Mayville's 4-game win streak. These two teams, Haskell and Dakota State, meanwhile, are attempting to end a losing streak. Haskell has dropped 4 straight. Dakota State has lost 3 consecutive games. Dakota State a record of 5-9 entering play today. Haskell at 4-10. Our pregame coverage with an in-game box score analysis from both teams debuts yesterday comes your way next on the campus of Bellevue after this. Back inside the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center on the campus of Bellevue University, the first game in the final day of the men's tournament play in the 2022 Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic. as the Dakota State Trojans pitted up against the Haskell Indian Nations University Fighting Indians. So glad you're with us wherever you may be and however you may be watching. I'm Casey Roll. Regan Malley, our camera woman, Reese Malley, our broadcast engineer, and Sean Malley, Bellevue University's game event manager, also on hand. Dakota State enters with a record of 5-9. They fell last night to Northwestern College 94-61, a game in which the Trojans never led. Northwestern was up at halftime, 64-27. A Trojan team that shot 39% from the field while allowing the Red Raiders to fire on all cylinders, hitting at a 60% clip from the field while shooting 63% from distance. The Trojans, meanwhile, were 5 of 29 from deep. They were led by Ronnie Ladding's 11 points as a starter. Ethan Sluthog off the bench also piled in 11 points. And meanwhile for Haskell, they fell in a nail-biter to the host school Bellevue last night, 69-63 for their 4th consecutive loss. The Fighting Indians were led by 16 points by both Bonzi King and Tate Bear, two high-profile transfers that 8th-year head coach Matthew Downing Jr. has been clamoring about this whole season, and there have been flashes of their ability to put up points at a high clip. Haskell in the loss shot 40% from the field and 25% from deep, 4 of 7 from the free throw line in a game in which they didn't have many opportunities to fire away at the stripe. This is the first ever meeting between Haskell and Dakota State. The Trojans, members of the North Star Athletic Association. Haskell, members of the Continental Athletic Conference. Longtime members and opponents of Bellevue University going back to the 70s and 80s and into the mid-20th century. So a familiar sight for Haskell to be playing here on the Bellevue University campus. For those who don't know, Haskell is the only tribal institution in the NAIA serving Alaska Natives and American Indians. In order to play at Haskell or to be enrolled, you have to be, or at least have some part of American Indian or Alaska Native heritage to attend the campus in Lawrence, Kansas. So a very interesting and special note about the Haskell Fighting Indians, hoping to end 2022 with the victory. Both teams getting set for the opening tip-off and the announcements of the starting lineups. We'll be back with that in just a moment from Gordon Lozier Athletic Center's Jerry Mosser Court. Back inside the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center, Bellevue University's campus. The Haskell Indian Nations University Fighting Indians and the Dakota State Trojans set to tip off, and with the presentation of the starting lineups, we take it courtside.
Every spectator, athlete, coach, and yes, our officials involved in today's contest. It's time to meet the starting lineups. First, for the starters from the Indians of Haskell Indian Nations University. Let's meet them. Starting at guard, a 6-foot sophomore from Texas, Oklahoma, number 1, Ira Blackbear. At guard, a 5'7" sophomore from Yakima, Washington, number 2, Brian Strong. And another guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Lake Utah. Number 3, Sam Mulder. And another guard, a 6'3" senior from Evansville, Wyoming. Number 4, Manny Vitula. That guard, a 6'3" senior from Seattle, Washington. Number 5, Deshaun Kelly. And the man in the middle, 6'9", sophomore from Lemon Grove, California. Number 15, Ronnie Ladding. The Trojans are coached by head coach Gary Garner. His 14th season, assisted by Sam Nicholson.
The losing streak will end this afternoon. The Haskell Indian Nations University Fighting Indians and the Dakota State Trojans. Dak State having lost 3 straight entering the night. Haskell 4 straight to end 2022. So glad you're with us wherever you may be and however you may be tuning in. I'm Casey Roll. Dakota State, a record of 5-9, members of the North Star Athletic Association, and the home whites move from right to left. Haskell, members of the Continental Athletic Conference, and the light blues from left to right. Ronnie Ladding, the 6'9" sophomore, takes the tip for Dakota State and wins it opposite the 6'6" junior Matt Anderson. Dakota State averaging 71 points per game over their first 14 games. Haskell 75 points per contest. Chris Morales had 5 points in a loss against Northwestern. Manny Neptula with the timer at 5. Ladding backing down on Anderson. Follow-away jumper off back iron. Bonzi King clears the rebound, the team leader in points per game at 19. Misfires on his first 3. Rebound cleared. Ira Blackbear back to King, driving to the lane, and he's fouled.
Foul's going to be charged the Trojans, number 5. Deshaun Kelly, his first team.
Deshaun Kelly, the team leader in points per game for Dakota State, tagged with his first personal. Did not play in the entire second half in yesterday's loss against Northwestern. King to the free throw line, a 77% free throw shooter. And a team high 16 points with his fellow junior Tate Bear in the loss yesterday against Bellevue. When 1 of 2 from the free throw line, he goes perfect here this afternoon. Morales, 1 of 2 Trojans to start each and every one of the 15 games this year. Sam Muller, the other. He has the basketball and yo-yos back to Morales. Ladding swarmed by a double. 10 on the timer, and Morales walks. Haskell's 8th-year head coach Matthew Downing Jr. priding his team on playing suffocating man-to-man defense. Suffocating to say the least. Anderson in the low block, swarmed by a double. Tate Bear lets it fly, short. First stop on defense for Dakota State. Muller, tight roping, dishing. Neptula thought about it, puts it on the deck. Ladding. Northwestern had success when they forced Ladding to pick up the dribble yesterday. 10 seconds on the timer. Kelly flips into the lane. Muller, the intended target, busted up by Ira Blackbear. The sophomore guard has started 13 of 15 games. Anderson, high post left. Off the heel of the rim. Neither side has hit a shot from the field. Morales keeps it that way. Haskell 0 of 3 from the field. Dakota State 0 of 2. Brian Strom, a Yakima Valley Community College transfer. Blackbear matched up on Kelly with a timer at 10 seconds. Anderson, long 2. Anderson splashes down. Anderson, the junior from Missoula, had 2 points in 17 minutes against Bellevue last night. Records the game's first basket from the field. And Haskell up to an early 4-0 lead. Dakota State's number 4, Manny Neptula, long of the 3. Ballot ahead in the corner. Strom gets a man in the air. 3 on the way, long. He got Neptula flying. Long rebound inhaled by Morales. Muller in transition, long off the heel. Dakota State's open 0 for its first 4 from the field. And Strom slows it down over the line. Tate Bear, runner from 10 feet, uses the window. Bear with his 19 points per contest through 12 prior games. He was 6 of 18 from the field against Bellevue last night. Dakota State still looking for its first points. Kelly threads the needle, busted up, ladding the intended target. Black Bear eyed by Morales. The bigs playing out beyond the perimeter, Anderson and Lathig. Timer at 10. Anderson off the give-and-go feed from Strom. Whips it out to the wing. For 5 seconds left. King, long three. Around and out. Tight, suffocating defense by Neptula on the perimeter. 4.5 minutes in, Dakota State is yet to score. Long two, Kelly. Off the side of the rim. Black Bear. Bear in the lane, draws the foul. Tate Bear, the native of Tama, Iowa, heads to the free throw line for the first time. Morales is tagged with the foul. It's his first. Bear at the free throw line this year, 76%. Did not make a trip to the foul line yesterday against Bellevue. Justin Curley and Trey Gaines check in for Haskell. Brett Limke, Ethan Damerum check in for Dakota State. Bear splits the pair. Just under 5 minutes in, Dakota State 0 of 5 from the field, looking for their first points. Neptula on the drive. Finesse move and the finish at the rim. Manny Neptula did not score in 14 points yesterday. He scores Dak State's first points today. Bear way off from distance, tracked down on the goal line by Spoon Hunter. He stepped out of bounds. Mason Spoon Hunter, the freshman, out of Marietta, Kansas, also subbing in. Morales lobs in the dam room, the largest player on either team at 6'10". Calling for it in the high post. He's got it. Working one-on-one against Spoon Hunter. 8 on the timer. Damrum with the finesse. He hands it off to Muller, who missed the bunny. Damrum had the step on Spoon Hunter, elected not to fire. Muller in the lane. No. Muller another rebound. Tenacious on the glass, and he's rewarded with the deuce. 4 points for Muller yesterday. He's got his first basket. Spoon Hunter tenacious to the basket, around and out. And the foul called on Damrum. First personal foul on the sophomore out of Shropshire, United Kingdom. Spoon Hunter to the foul line. He's 3 of 7 this year. Make it 3 of 8. Had 2 points in 17 minutes off the bench against Bellevue yesterday. A Haskell team that did not get to the foul line often against the Bruins last night, 4 of 7. Spoon Hunter 0 of 2, a lane violation called. And so Spoon Hunter shooting another free throw. It's a violation on Damrum. He jumped early. Justin Curley, who's surrendering 11 inches to Damrum size-wise, got him to jump. Spoon Hunter cans the second. And a turnover on Muller. Attempted to feed Limke. Third turnover of the afternoon on Dakota State, a team that averages 14 turnovers a game. Dakota State makes another substitution. Ethan Slothog, who had a team best 11 points off the bench, subs Morales, a longer, lengthier team for Dakota State on the court. Eight seconds for Spoonhunter, whips it into the lane. Curley feeding Spoonhunter, deflected by Damram, out of bounds. 4 seconds left on the timer. Gaines, long two, way long. A shot clock violation.
It'll be Trojan ball.
Neither side particularly stroking it from the field to start. Dakota State 20%, Haskell at 25%. Neither side has hit a three. Neptula hounded by the opposite number 4, Curley. Slothog steps back, misses everything from deep. And Damram tied up. The possession arrow goes to Haskell.
Checking in for the Trojans, be number 12, Chase Kelly.
Jace Kelly checking in for Dakota State.
Basketball.
4 different substitutions for the Trojans within the first 6.5 minutes. Gaines flips it out wide. Derek Havern swung it toward the end line, and it's busted up by Gaines. It's last off his hand. And a timeout's taken by the Indians. First timeout taken by either side. Isaiah Strom set to, Brian Strom set to check in at the next dead ball, which is now. 7 minutes gone by. It's 8-4 Haskell. Both teams coming off of losses last night. Bit of a similar start for Dakota State to what they saw yesterday when they got routed by Northwestern. Haskell, who had led at halftime against Bellevue, ended up slipping away to a 6-point loss. Defense has definitely been the MO of this first opening stanza of the half. Limke to inbound against the full court trap pressure of Haskell. Limke, Kelly, and Slothog, along with Damram, 4 non-starters on the court for the Trojans. Oh, beautiful move. Damram unable to finish. Brian Strom, subbed in for the first time, collects the rock. Gaines through traffic, draws a foul.
Foul's going to be charged with the Trojan, number 34. Slothog, his first team.
First personal foul on Ethan Slothog.
Pregame.
And Gaines to the free throw line for the first time. A 75% foul shooter. He had started the last 13 games he had played. Came off the bench today in the final game of 2022. Limke snaking into the high post. Damram, he's got a size mismatch, working on just about anybody he's matched up on. 10 seconds on the timer, and Kelly blows the layup. Kelly got the switch, and he got the slip past Atazun. Kohanan Atazun. He subbed in at that last dead ball as well. Derek Havern, the Murray State College transfer, spinning away from a double. Gaines with 10 on the timer, driving to the cup and lays it in with the left. First basket from the field for Gaines, and Haskell out to a 7-point cushion. Dakota State,
Indians ball.
a 2-minute, 15-second scoring drought, shooting 17% from the field.
15,
Ronnie Ladding spelling Dame Rum.
Matthew Anderson.
Matt Anderson, meanwhile, checking in for the Fighting Indians in place of Spoon Hunter. Chris Morales, the starting point guard, also checking back in. Ladding pounding his way in against Anderson is bumped and fouled. Ronnie Ladding's going to have a big size advantage in the low post.
Number 45.
It's Anderson's first personal. Ladding at 6'9", 270. Biggest player size-wise on the court. Ladding collects a rebound off the miss from Neptula, and he flips it in. Chance to earn 3 the old school way.
Number 25, Havern, his first.
Derek Havern is tagged with the foul, his first personal. Ladding, who had 11 against Northwestern yesterday, to the foul line. A 40% free throw shooter. Unable to connect. Still looking for the game's first 3. Both teams a combined 0 for 8 from distance. Gaines running the point, matched up by Morales. 2 potent man-to-man defenses. Anderson short. 9 minutes into the first half. Haskell up 5. Ladding pounding his way to the low post. Draws another foul.
Against the Indians, number 25.
And it's on Havern.
Havern, his second.
Second personal foul at back-to-back defensive possessions for the sophomore out of El Reno, Oklahoma. Ladding missed his first attempt a moment ago. The Lemon Grove, California native, right outside South Dakota, part of the greater South Dakota area, San Diego area. That's how you can tell that I've been in Nebraska for too long. I see the initials SD, and I think of South Dakota before the city, San Diego. Havern collects the rebound after Ladding split the pair. Gaines gets the switch on Ladding, through a double, zips it to Anderson. Anderson turns it over, Neptula tight roping the end line. Manny Neptula coast to coast, misses the layup. Last touch by Gaines on the end line, it stays on this end with the Trojans.
Back in for Haskell will be number 13,
Mason Spoonhunter spelling Anderson. Rotational minutes we can expect. Spoonhunter and Anderson being the top 2 bigs for this team led by Matthew Downing Jr. Timer to the 10 seconds. Slot Hog zips to Neptula. 5 on the timer. Slot Hog gets the roll. Ethan Slot Hog's got his first basket from the field, and the deficit's trimmed to 2. Next dead ball will be our immediate timeout. King spots up and unable to connect. 50-50 possession at the midcourt stripe, a timeout. No, a held ball. King attempted to call timeout, but the officiating crew signaling that it was a tie-up possession arrow. Media timeout on the court with 9:54 left in the first half. It's Haskell 11, Dakota State 9 from the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center.
Checking in for the Haskell Indians will be number 2, Brian.
inside the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center on the campus of Bellevue University. The Haskell Indian Nations Fighting Indians lead the Dakota State Trojans 11-9. So glad you're tuning in wherever you are and however you may be watching. I'm Casey Roll. Alongside broadcast engineer Reese Malley, camerawoman Regan Malley, and Bellevue University game event manager Sean Malley. Trojan basketball to resume play after the under 10-minute media timeout. Both teams shooting 25% from the field. It's been a defensive contest to say the least. Ronnie Ladding has made the last two shots from the field, and he's called for an offensive foul.
Number 15, Ladding, his first.
Lower to the shoulder, and the big man is tagged with his first personal. 5 team fouls on the Trojans, opposite to 3 for the Indians. Trey Gaines came off the bench. He's played ever since. Straight on. King 3 splash. Bonzi King, the team leader in triples with 48, lacing it down at 37%. Knocks in the game's first 3. We had been waiting for someone to knock it down from distance. Both teams were a combined 1-0 for 9 before that make. Brian Strom accelerates. No look pass. Spoonhunter not expecting. Glances out of play. Only the second turnover for this Indians team, a program that's had its fair share of turnover concerns, averaging 13 per game entering. Kelly working on Gaines. Gaines picks his pocket. He's got Strom with him. Brian Strom, no. Attacked the rack, but Kelly said goodbye. It's 4-on-1 the other way. Kelly zips it, low block. And Limke is hacked. Excuse me, no, Slot Hog.
Number 13, Mason Spoonhunter.
Mason Spoonhunter hit with a foul. That's his first.
Slot Hog shooting for the Trojans.
Ethan Slot Hog shooting at the line for the first time. He's 3 for 3 on the season. Did not make his way to the foul line in yesterday's loss against Northwestern. Second-year Trojan. All 18 of his games as a freshman last year came off the bench in the reserve role. Pulls Dakota State within 3. With 8.5 left in this opening half of play. Both teams vying to end losing streaks. Haskell has dropped 4 straight. Dakota State has 3 straight losses. You know neither team wants to have the distinction of being the only program in the tournament to not win a game.
Back in for Haskell, the number 15.
Tate Baird checking in for Camden Sika-Kwaptua. The starting 5 is on the court for Haskell. 2 non-starters for Dakota State. Gaines, a circus shot, offensive foul. Gaines when attacking Slot Hog, one of those 2 aforementioned non-starters. And Gaines is hit with his first personal. Ladding, nice feed. Slot Hog fouled. Bear got his hand across his chest, and Tate Bear is hit with his first personal.
Up to the line to shoot 2, Slot Hog.
Slot Hog back to the foul line. He had hit both of his attempts a few moments earlier. Game 2 of 4 today in the Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic. Game to follow back in the women's bracket. Last women's game of the tournament. The host team, Bellevue, after dropping a matchup to Doane last night, matches up against the Iowa Wesleyan Tigers. The nightcap, it should be a good one. Northwestern and Bellevue at 6. Bear on the other end, spotting up for three, got the bounce. Tate Bear got the bounce off the front of the rim, and Haskell's lead has swollen to 4 with 7.5 left in this opening half of play. Ladding picks up his dribble, attacking Spoon Hunter, and Ronnie Ladding shows off the muscles. Deficit trimmed in half. It's a 2-point lead. Ladding's got 5. Dangerous pass connecting the King. Crossover move, driving into the lane, attacking Ladding. Ripped down by the sophomore. His 3rd rebound of the afternoon. King blows a tire. Slot hog dropping off. Ladding in the lane. Step through move. We're tied for the first time since the opening tip. Ronnie Ladding with the perfect step-through move off the feed. Haskell surrendered 6 unanswered. And it's a Dakota State team that's been perfect in its last 4 attempts from the field. Reverse lay-in. Ira Blackbear off the feed from Strom, going reverse and using the rim as a security blanket. Dakota State has not led. They can change that with a 3. Muller, hemmed in by a double. Slot hog, rifling in from the point. Outlet ahead, Bear behind his back. Errant pass intercepted by Ladding, and Muller bumped and fouled by Blackbear. First team foul on Blackbear, and that puts Dakota State in a bonus. Manny Neptula and Ethan Damrum check in for 14th year head coach Gary Gardner's Dakota State program. Sam Muller to the foul line for the first time. A 66% foul shooter, 1-1, misses the front end. The Dakota State team mired in its current 3-game losing streak as a team, shooting 53% from the foul line amidst the streak. Blackbear lays it in. Getting a chance to talk with Gary Gardner earlier this week, he was quick to point out that foul shooting was one of the things that have plagued his Trojans as they head into the winter break. Damra misses from point blank. Bears got the size advantage on Muller, unable to capitalize, and Muller scoops up the rock. Neptula attacking the basket, and he flips it home through the teeth. And he challenges Spoon Hunter at the rim. We're tied up again. Dakota State has hit 4 of its last 5 from the field. Blackbear over to the top of a Spoon Hunter screen, unable to scoop it in. Slot hog. Damrum's got the size mismatch, and he takes advantage. 6'10", scores on 6'5". And the Trojans have the lead. They've hit 5 of their last 6 from the field. King curling over a screen, zips it somehow into Spoon Hunter, and he flips it in. That glanced off a handful of hands, and it somehow found Spoon Hunter to tie it back up. What a complexion change. We went earlier in this game from Dakota State not being able to buy a bucket to now hitting 6 of their last 7 officially. Damrum coughs it up. Blackbear on the run. Ira Blackbear unable to finish. Limke bumped from behind. If that's on Derek Havern, that's his 3rd personal foul with 3.5 minutes left in this first half of play. It is on Havern, and it appears that Matthew Downing Jr. goes into his bench. Matt Anderson in for Spoon Hunter. They're keeping Havern in with those 3 fouls. Limke to the free throw line, 1-1, long. Dakota State, 5 of 8 from the foul line. Havern bumped. And that's on Limke, the freshman out of West Fargo, North Dakota. Havern slicing, driving, perfect feed. Anderson lost it. Anderson wasn't ready. That was as easy as a possible lane as you can possibly get. Shows you how good that feed was from Havern, that Anderson wasn't expecting it. Ladding flashing in the high post. He's got the size advantage on Anderson. Neptula free to fire. Long and a loose ball foul underneath the basket. It stays on this end.
Number 25, Havern.
And that's on Havern. That's his 4th personal foul. It's a curious situation as to whether or not they let Havern keep playing with those 3 fouls, and it appears now that he's been tagged with 4. That Havern is indeed heading to the bench. Trey Gaines inputted back into the court. 1-1 for Muller. That's now 4 straight front ends of 1-1s that the Trojans have left short. Bonzie King got the size advantage. He's got the mismatch and he scores on Ladding. He put Ladding in a spin cycle. And King gives the Fighting Indians a 2-point lead. King's got 7 overall to lead all scores for the Indians. Blackbear forces a turnover. Gaines passes up a triple, 3 in the corner, Bear long. Ladding pounding his way down on Anderson, sent back by King. Bonzie King says no. Black Bear coast to coast, behind the back. Ira Black Bear gives the Indians a 4-point lead. Some skill points by the sophomore. Ladding, he's eyed by Gaines in a possible double. Timer to the 10 seconds. Limke on the drive, and he slices through Black Bear and Gaines for the deuce. Somehow, Bear ahead of the pack, and Tate Bear gets the lay-in. How did he get that open? Haskell back up 4. Limke free to fire, short. Dakota State has yet to hit a 3, 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. That's out of bounds, last off of King. Looks like a bit of a sag between man-to-man and light 2-3 zone defense. Haskell head coach Matthew Downing Jr., not a huge proponent of the zone, but he switches in and out when opposing teams are on runs like Dakota State was a few moments ago. Muller through contact gets the finish. It's back to a two-score game, 2-point game, still 1 score. Gaines sucks in defenders. King in the corner. Why not? Bonzie King, his second 3. And King's got 7. Shot clock turned off, so Dakota State can hold for the final shot if they choose. Muller eyed by Black Bear. Ladding pulling up from the high post, way long. King running with 5. Bonzie King whips it to Bear. 3 at the horn, short. And that's how the first half comes to an end. The Haskell Indian Nations University Indians lead the Dakota State Trojans by 5 at the end of the first 20 minutes. Bonzi King led all scorers with 10 points on 3 of 7 shooting. Ethan Sluthog chipped in 8 for Dakota State. And at the end of the first half, it's the Indians leading the Trojans 32-27. Our halftime report comes up next with in-game box score analysis and the recap of the first 20 minutes and get you set for the second half of play, and also previewing some of the other games coming up later this afternoon on the campus of Bellevue University. That's all next on the 2022 Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic Intermission Report here from Coach Jerry Mosser-Court. Lozier Athletic Center. Coach Jerry Mosser-Court on Bellevue University's campus. We've hit halftime between Haskell and Dakota State. The Bellevue Bruins and the Iowa Wesleyan Tigers warming up the third game of the tournament today. In the women's bracket, the final women's game of the tournament today. And this weekend, a thriller in the first game with Doane defeating Mayville State 85-83. Let's look at the first half numbers. First for Haskell, leading by 5, shooting 43% from the field, 3 for 10 from distance, and 5 of 8 from the foul line. All scorers were paced by Bonzi King's 10 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 2 of 5 from deep, 2 of 2 from the foul line. He also had 4 rebounds to lead the Indians. Tate Bear had 8 points. Ira Black Bear had 6. Matt Anderson had 2. Trey Gaines with 3 and Mason Spoonhunter with 3 points. For Dakota State, they were led by 7 from Ronnie Ladding. Sam Muller and Manny Antula each had 4 points. Ethan Slothog had 8 off the bench. Ethan Damram had 2 and Brett Limke had 2. Dakota State shot 40% from the field, 0 of 6 from 3, 5 of 10 from the free throw line. Both teams aiming to end losing streaks. Dakota State mired in a 3-game drought and Haskell in a 4-game streak. We'll see whose streak comes to an end to end the 2022 calendar year when we return. Second half coming your way next from Bellevue. of the second half from Gordon Lozier Athletic Center, Coach Jerry Mosser Court. The second day of the 2022 Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic. The Haskell Indian Nations University Indians lead the Dakota State Trojans 32-27 after 20 minutes. So glad you're with us wherever you may be and however you may be listening. I'm Casey Roll, alongside operator on the broadcast board, Reese Mallory, camerawoman Regan Malley, and Bellevue University game event manager Sean Malley. Two more games following this one, Bellevue women and Iowa Wesleyan at 4:30, and then a nightcap at 6:30 between Bellevue and Northwestern men's hoops to close out the two-game tournament. And to also close out play in the NAIA through the 2022 calendar year. Hopefully you all have fun New Year's Eve plans planned out for tomorrow. Haskell in the light blue from right to left to begin the second half. Dakota State in the home whites. Starting five of the court, out for both teams. And it's Bonzi King, the team leader in points per game. He's got 12 to lead all scorers. An early start for Haskell, 15 seconds into the half. An Indians team that shot 43% from the field in the first 20. Ronnie Ladding, he's been a matchup nightmare in the low post. Pounding his way down on Anderson. Through a double. Too many steps for the sophomore from California. Dakota State had 8 turnovers in that first half. Be curious to see what the adjustment possibly will be made, if there are any adjustments made to guard Ladding in the low post. Brian Strom lobs. Anderson got the mismatch, missed the layup. His shot altered by Deshaun Kelly. He did not play in the second half. Kelly did not make an appearance against Northwestern yesterday. He's on the court to start today. Kelly, amidst a bevy of humanity, draws a foul. And it's charged to Anderson. To second.
Anderson is second. Team first. Shooting is
Kelly to the foul line for the first time. He's scoreless through the first half. It's the first time that Kelly hasn't registered a point at the first 20-minute mark. 63% foul shooter. A senior from Seattle. He's got a few frequent flyer miles underneath his belt. We'll talk about that when he checks back in. Brett Limke subs in for the senior guard. Black Bear on the drive. Too strong at a layup. Ladding pounds it off of Black Bear. Smart of the winner in this play from Ladding, knowing where the line was and seeing Black Bear close to the end line. These are heads-up IQ plays that 14th year Dakota State head coach Gary Garner outlined when talking about Ladding's development from his sophomore year this year to when he was a freshman last season. Morales creates separation, misses the jumper. King deflects it out of bounds as he went up and challenged Muller for the board. Muller lob picked off by Black Bear. 3-on-1. King coast to coast. Bonzi King lays it in. He's got 12. And a timeout taken by Manny Neptula and the Trojans. He was trapped by Black Bear and King. Talking about journeyman, Bonzi King also fits that bill. Haskell being his 4th school. Began his collegiate career as a redshirt at NCAA Division I Wisconsin Green Bay. Did not play during his time in the Horizon League. Then would end up going to Division II in the NCAA, Lincoln University, members of the MIAA. Had a minor stint at Milwaukee Area Technical College, and now has found his way to Lawrence and playing for a university that was right next to where he grew up, Haskell Indian Nations University. Kelly back onto the court after the abbreviated sit on the bench. Same 5 in the court for Haskell after the timeout was used by Gary Garner. Ladding matching up on Anderson, threads the needle. Morales lost the rock. King ahead of the pack. 2 high-time scorers, Bonzi King and Deshaun Kelly matching up. King gets the switch on to Morales. Tate Bear on the drive, sent back by Ladding. Ronnie Ladding, the team leader in blocks, collects his 12th. Kelly unable to connect, and Ladding rifles it into his own bench. 11th turnover on the Trojans, and the 3rd of this half. King. Anderson, long 2. Matt Anderson flips it down with a hand in his face. Matt Anderson says it doesn't matter. He's got 4. Was 1 of 4 shooting in that first half. Matthew Downing wanting a foul in the low post. He thought that Anderson got clubbed by Ladding on a step-through move. It's Anderson instead picking up the foul. It's his 3rd. Taylor Edwards checks in for the first time in place of Ladding. The South Dakota native, Black Hills State transfer. Errant pass by Kelly intended for Slot Hog. And the Indians grab another possession. Mason Spoonhunter checks in place of Anderson. So the 5 on the court for Haskell. King, Black Bear, Spoonhunter, Bear, and Strom. Neptula, Kelly, Muller, Slot Hog, and Edwards for Dakota State. Timer at 10 seconds for Strom. Gets the switch on the Slot Hog. King, long 2 from the end line, splash. Bonzi King, he's got 16. With just over 16 minutes left, it's Haskell out to its largest lead of the afternoon. They're up 11. A 6-0 Indians run over the last 90 seconds. Kelly steps back. Long 2, doesn't go. Muller scrapping for possession. A tie-up in the corner. And the possession arrow stays on this end.
For the Indians, number 3 Gaines, number 25,
Trey Gaines, Derek Havern with 4 personal fouls back into the game. And Camden Sikakwaptua back in after playing a few moments in that first half. Kelly, the trigger man on the end line. Slot Hog thought about it. 10 seconds on the timer for Neptula. Dakota State hasn't scored in the last 3 minutes. It stays that way. Kelly gets the loose change, and Muller flips it in. Count it and 1. Number 3 has a chance for 3 the old school way. And that snaps the strings set together by Haskell. Spoonhunter is hit with his 2nd personal. All 3 fouls in this half belong to Haskell. Muller connects on the 3-point play. The 66% free throw shooter had missed his first 2 attempts in that first half. Sikakwaptua, he got loose and he lays it in. Back to a 10-point edge. Neptula flashes it into the high post. Muller driving on King. Beautiful move. Edwards comes up empty. Bonzi King weaving his way through traffic, working against Slot Hog. Zips to Gaines. Trey Gaines, long two. Trickles off iron. King saves it on the end line. Athletic play by Deshaun Kelly. Kelly eyed by Havern, playing with those 4 fouls. Kelly on the drive. Slot Hog. He's got the size advantage on Gaines, and he flips it in. Ethan Slot Hog drops in his first basket of the second half. He has 10 overall. And the Indians' lead is trimmed to 8. King whips to the point. Gaines thought about it on the drive, short from 10 feet. Dakota State went over 90 seconds without a point. Now they're on a bit of a run. Muller posting up in a low block. Muller fouled on his way up. It's on Camden Asikwa Kwaptua. And it's Muller shooting 2. 1 of 4 from the free throw line for the Mount Hood Community College transfer. A JUCO powerhouse in Oregon, known for its baseball and basketball programs. Muller comes up empty, and it's glanced out of play off of Slot Hog. Havern into the corner, open 3. Sikwa Kwaptua short. Manny Neptula, he's missed his last 2 shots. Muller getting the switch. Edwards passing up a triple. Slot Hog doesn't pass it up. Slot Hog grappling for possession, and it's stripped loose by Gaines. Gaines slicing through traffic, draws foul. Down low on Edwards.
Foul charge number 25.
Edwards picks up his first. The NCAA Division II transfer.
Gaines at the line.
It's Trey Gaines to the free throw line. He's 1 of 2 today. 75% on the season. 2 starters for the Trojans back into the game, Ladding and Morales. Anderson, spelling Spoon Hunter, that's been the rotation all game. One of the 2 bigs. Anderson has essentially mimicked every rotation that Ladding checks back into the game. Ladding into high post. Morales, he hasn't scored. Muller has, most recently, driving on the end line. His pass busted up by King. 3-on-1. Havern. King spots up from distance. And Kelly elevates for the rebound, fouled over 90 feet away from his own basket. Tua hit with a foul, and a timeout taken by Haskell's head coach, Matthew Downing Jr. Downing Jr.'s had a very interesting basketball career, a lot of high-profile influences in his career, had played under Brad Underwood, the current head coach at the University of Illinois, proud members of the Big Ten Conference. When asked about what he learned under Underwood, he's talking about his quick hitters and his attention to detail, something that Downing Jr. takes with him every single day in the office. Had played at the University of Maryland under another legendary head coach. Greg Williams. That was in the late 80s and early 90s. Morales curling into the high post. Kelly, he's yet to connect from the field. Falling away, tough shot. Too much juice working against Sequa Kwaptua. Gaines hits the afterburner, set back by Kelly. Kelly can run. Deshaun Kelly through contact. And don't look now, but the deficit's trimmed to 7. A defensive game. Haskell at 41% from the field, Dakota State at 37. Havern stepped out. Substitution for the Indians. Tate Bears spelling Sequa Kwaptua. And Jace Kelly in for Deshaun Kelly, no relation. Jace's Kelly is spelled Kelley. Deshaun Kelly, the more fundamental Kelly with just one E.
Number 45, Anderson, is 4.
Matt Anderson, meanwhile, is tagged with his 4th personal foul. The starting center for the Indians, and he's got a hard task with guarding Latting down low. It's not the biggest size team, this Haskell team, and Matthew Downing Jr. will be the first to admit it, and Anderson just picked up his 5th. Anderson reached in, and Matt Anderson's game comes to an end. 4 points in 13 minutes, heavily hampered by foul trouble.
And for the Indians will be number 13, Mason Spoonhunter.
Anderson yesterday had 2 fouls, but he also wasn't facing the size that he's facing with this Dakota State team. Latting now 1 for 4 from the free throw line with that last miss, a 40% foul shooter.
1-2 on the trip ball to Georgia.
6-point advantage for the Indians. One thing to keep in mind, however, Dakota State in the bonus the rest of the way. Spot up 3 for Gaines. Been a tough shooting night from the perimeter for both teams. Dakota State 0 for 7 from deep. Haskell 3 for 12. Morales swarmed by a double. Held ball possession. Arrow stays on this end.
Arrow to the Trojans.
Brian Strom checks in place of Havern, who, by the way, is playing with 4 fouls. No, excuse me, Havern stays in. It's Gaines who subs out. Was a bit of a miscommunication on the part of the bench, wondering whether or not it's Gaines coming in or Havern coming out.
It is Haskell ball.
The officials, led by Pete Larson, convene, and they say that that ball was actually out of bounds when it was a tie-up. So that was what they were just conversing about. So it's Haskell possession. Dangerous pass by Havern, connects to Bear, working one-on-one against Slothog. Bear calling for it in the low post with 10 on the timer. Through a double, kicks. Spoonhunter in the lane, bumped and fouled. Latting wondering what he did to convince the officiating crew to call a foul, doing his best sell job, but it's a foul on Latting, the second-year forward with his 2nd personal. Spoonhunter shooting 2. They called out a shooting foul. So Mason Spoonhunter, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, make it 1 of 3. He's 4 for 10 this year from the line overall in 13 games played. Neither side particularly well from the foul line tonight either. Haskell at 50%, Dakota State at 53. Morales from 3. Dakota State 0 for 8 from deep. Spoonhunter on a flashy pass from King, and Bonzi King signals the binoculars as if he saw that from a mile away. Haskell up 8. A partial four-court trap press led by King, who's playing with a game-high 16 points. Limke, he's got 2. He's left open from deep. Limke left it short. Ladding, what a move, and Ronnie Ladding spins away from traffic and kisses it off the window. Ladding's got 10 to lead all current Trojan starters. With 10 minutes left, next stoppage is our media timeout. Tate Bear way off from distance as he let it uncork. Strom resets with a fresh 20 seconds on the timer. Strom bumped and fouled by Morales. And that'll bring us to the second half media timeout with 9:47 left in regulation. It's Haskell 45, Dakota State 39. Back inside the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center on the campus of Bellevue University. First of 2 men's games in the final day of the tournament. Haskell leading Dakota State 45-39. Haskell has led ever since the midway point of that first half. Dakota State has cut the deficit to as little as 3. But Matthew Downing Jr.'s side playing motivated to snap a 4-game losing streak to head into the new year. Dakota State, meanwhile, mild in a 3-game skid. Mason Spoonhunter spots up and knocks it down from 3. Not a particularly good shooting night from distance for either team. Haskell with its 4th attempt and its 4th attempt in this half. They're 4 for 15 overall. Dakota State's yet to hit one from distance. Limke eyed by Havern, playing with those 4 personal fouls. He had 3 early in the first half. Slot hog reverse. A no-look shot at the basket, and he's clobbered by Spoonhunter. Third personal foul on Spoonhunter, and that's going to be something to watch. Matt Anderson, the starting center for this Haskell team, fouled out a few moments ago. Slot hog to the free throw line where he's 4 for 4 today. And there's the announcer's jinx. It's not only his first miss of the game, but his first miss this season. He had been 7 for 7. Taylor Edwards checks in for Ladding. Edwards getting some rotational minutes. He had 9 minutes of play against Northwestern yesterday. 8-point Haskell lead. Bonzie King leads all scorers with 16. Oh, step back, long 2. King bottoms! Wow, how did Bonzie King make that? Style points from King, showing that he's the king of the hardwood here in Bellevue. Haskell up 10. Limke swings it out to Sam Muller. Kelly, 3 on the way, and that's the first triple for Dakota State. They had been 0 for 9 until Jace Kelly checked in. Strom working against the tight man-to-man defense. Jace Kelly, who Gary Garner describes as a lockdown defender, he creates a steal. Muller coast to coast, step through move. Unable to finish, glances out of bounds. It's last off of King. Two teams aiming to end 2022 with a win. Both programs who, when discussing with both head coaches, will be the first ones to tell you it's been an inconsistent season. Kelly another three, short. Muller a long weak side rebound. Limke left open. Edwards crashes the offensive boards. 15th offensive rebound for Dakota State, results in 2. And don't look now, but it's a 5-point game with 7.5 left. King, long three. That would have sent the bench into a state of uproar. Dakota State can trim the deficit to 1 possession with a basket. Timer at 10. Kelly zips it into the lane for Edwards, busted up. 5 seconds on the clock. Slot hog left open. Tried to call bank, it glanced off the rim. Dakota State 1 of 12 from distance. Haskell 4 of 16. The Dakota State team that entering today amidst its losing streak had been 21% from deep. Spoon Hunter, rip loose. We play on, Tate Bear. Long triple, missed everything. Haskell has gone scoreless in its last 2.5 minutes. Muller gets a screen from Edwards. Taylor Edwards zips it across. Limke with 5 on the timer. Long 2, glanced off. Spoon Hunter tracking it down weak side. It's been a defensive game all afternoon. If defense is what's going to carry us out the rest of the way, you'd think that Matthew Downing Jr. at Haskell would be appreciative of the sentiment. It's a finish by Havern, meanwhile, to extend the lead to 7. Edwards given space, not pulling the trigger. Muller with 5 seconds, turnaround, fall away from 5 feet, falls. And a timeout taken by Gary Gardner, a full timeout. With 5:04 left. Be sure to join us after the game for our box score analysis and setting the tone for the second and final women's basketball game of the tournament. Bellevue, the host school, taking on the Iowa Wesleyan Tigers. A lot of character minutes being played by the Dakota State bench. A couple big injuries setting this Trojan team back. Kevin Jones Jr., who had been a big part of this scoring attack for the Trojans, had injured his foot earlier before the break, was downgraded to out this weekend. Talking about inconsistency, Gary Garner on the Dakota State bench couldn't be quick enough to point out specifics. If you need an example of what inconsistency for Dakota State has looked like this year, the Trojans earlier this season had won 98-66 in a game against Mount Marty, would end up losing the next 4. A program that hasn't been over 500 at any point this season. We're 5 games below 500 last year. It's a team that, despite its upperclassmen leadership, is still a relatively young program with this Haskell team. 2 universities who have history playing here at Bellevue. Haskell has made trips to Bellevue University in the late 70s and early 80s through the mid-20th century. Dakota State plays in Bellevue's University, meanwhile, the North Star Athletic Association. Tate Bear working against Ladding. Ten seconds on the timer for Black Bear. Havard. Long shot, and he's way off. It was a 2. His foot was on the line. His first field goal attempt since early in the first half. Limke left open. From the nail short, Ladding the rebound, and he pushes it in off the window. It's a 3-point game. Dakota State in the bonus. They've only committed 3 fouls. Havard working one-on-one against Limke. Ten on the timer. Black Bear sent back by Ladding. Ronnie Ladding said no. His team leading 12th block of the season. Trey Gaines back into the game and a full timeout used by Haskell and Matthew Downing Jr. An Indians team that still trying to figure out its identity through its first 14 games, now playing in game 15. Lots of familiar faces, returning 9 players from last season's team that finished 5-15. Its first year of playing in the newly developed Continental Athletic Conference. Was quick to mention that this team has the potential to shoot well from the field, and you've seen flashes of it during the game today of the ability not only to create shots, but to get quality scoring opportunities. Just hasn't been offense being the MO of the flow of the game for either team. First ever meeting between both programs, both schools attempting to end losing streaks. Dakota State has dropped 3 straight. Haskell has dropped 4 straight. One streak will end to conclude 2022. It's a 1-possession game. 3-point advantage for the Indians. Haskell's number 3. Trey Gaines into the game. A spark plug off the bench. Attempts to thread it into Bear, and it's out of bounds. Last off of Bear. Dakota State has a chance to tie with a 3. A Trojans team that's 1 for 13 from distance. Ladding double immediately on possession. Ladding, dangerous pass, connects to Limke. 10 on the timer. Muller thought about a 30-footer. 5 on the timer. Ladding left open, and Ladding kisses it in. It's a 1-point game here at Bellevue. King, step through move into the lane. Reverse set back by Ladding. The Trojans have the chance to take the lead. Limke with a spin move, breaching the time stripe. Under 3 minutes remaining. Dakota State in the bonus. They've only committed 3 fouls. Ladding, he's been the man in the low post. Timer at 10 seconds. Muller zips it in the slot hog. He's got the size advantage. Missed it from point blank. Haskell is scoreless in its last 3 minutes. Dakota State in that span is on a 6-0 run. Ten on the timer. Havern zips it. Bear in the low post. Eyed by a double. Step through move. Tate Bear comes up empty. And Spoon Hunter commits a foul all the way on the other end of the court. And Sam Muller to the free throw line. Has a chance to give the Trojans the lead.
For the Indians, number 2, Brian Strom.
Brian Strom checking in for Haskell. Havern taking a seat. Muller 1-1, and he misses the front end. Going back to the end of the first half, Dakota State has missed 6 consecutive 1-1 front ends. You wonder what could have been left on the table. The Trojans 10 of 20 from the line. Haskell 6 of 12. Gains to the rack, lays it in off the glass with the left. Haskell back up 3 with 100 seconds left. Timeout taken by Dakota State. They've got 3 remaining. A minute 27 left. A 1-possession game. Friendly reminder, be sure to stick with us. We'll recap this one with an in-game box score analysis and get you set for Bellevue and Iowa Wesleyan women's basketball. Set to tip off at 4:30 here on the campus of Bellevue University at Jerry Mosser Court. Very special thanks to the Bellevue Athletics Department for having me over the last few games. Appreciate all the hospitality of Athletic Director Steve Field and Sean Malley, the game event manager here at Bellevue University. Waning stages of the 2022 Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic. One of these two teams will not only have the dubious distinction of being the only program to not win this weekend in the men's bracket, but will also have to cope with carrying a losing streak into 2023. 9 team fouls on the Indians, 3 on the Trojans. One thing to keep in mind, Ronnie Ladding, who has been the top scoring option for the Trojans today with 14. He's had a size mismatch on every big that's been thrown at him. Matt Anderson, the starting center for the Indians, had fouled out earlier in this half. A 3 ties the game. The Trojans are 1 for 13 from distance. 10 on the timer. Ladding picks up his dribble, step through move, powers it in off the glass. He's got 16. 5 shy of matching his season best. .65 seconds left. And Haskell nursing a 1-point lead. Gaines. Eyed by Limke. Lobs it in. Spoon Hunter. Sucked in by a double. 8 seconds left on the timer, and Spoon Hunter turns it over. And another timeout taken by Gary Garner. You could see him from the corner of your screen signaling for a timeout. And that stops play with 43 seconds left in the half. Let's call it regulation time in the event this goes into OT. Keep in mind, any fouls on Haskell send Dakota State to the free throw line. Neither side particularly well from the foul line in the event of fouls, 50% aside. The first game of the day came down to the wire between Mayville State and Doane in the women's bracket, so why not make it the same case in the men's bracket? First all-time meeting between both schools. And it's a 1-possession game with less than a minute left. Dakota State with 2 timeouts remaining, Haskell with 3. So there's a good chance that a lot of icing the clock might happen late. Brett Limke, Jace Kelly, Ronnie Ladding, Ethan Sluthog, and Sam Muller, the 5 for Dakota State. Bonzi King, Tate Bear, Mason Spoon Hunter, Ira Black Bear, Brian Strom, and Trey Gaines. Gaines gets a steal. There's a 2-second difference between game and shot clock. Gaines just now realizing it. He's milking more time off. Dakota State electing not to foul. And now you can hear Gary Garner barking for a foul on the other end of the court. 9 seconds elapsed from the point to where Gaines picked up the ball. And another timeout's taken by Dakota State.
30 seconds out.
That's 3 timeouts taken within a 1.5-minute span. So Dakota State with 1 timeout remaining, Haskell with 3. We talked about the first game, the women's game earlier being a 1-score game. It was a 2-point victory for Doane over Mayville State. Our broadcast engineer, Reese Malley, actually timed it out. The last minute of that game lasted over 11 minutes of real time because of fouls and timeouts. "18 seconds left in regulation. Haskell up a point. The Indians aiming to end the 4-game losing streak. The Trojans aiming to snap a 3-game skid. And it appears that timeout's been taken by Haskell after the Dakota State timeout. It's a full timeout used by Matthew Downing Jr. Haskell led by 5 at halftime. A game in which Haskell hadn't trailed in that first half. There have been 2 lead changes and 2 ties. Playing it tight down the stretch, just as Haskell did yesterday in its loss against Bellevue. Be a tough pill to swallow in both games of this tournament to possibly lose both when leading at half. They led Bellevue by 5 at half, and they led Dakota State at 5 at half today. Speaking of those Bellevue Bruins, the men's game is the nightcap in the weekend finale against the Northwestern College Red Raiders. What a game that they had at the expense of Dakota State, a 94-61 victory. For Chris Korver's side, both teams break the huddle. Sam Muller, Brett Limke, Jace Kelly, Ethan Slothog, and Ronnie Ladding, the 5 for Dakota State. Ryan Strom, Bonzi King, Tate Bear, Mason Spoonhunter, and Trey Gaines, the 5 for Haskell. In the Bear in the backcourt, and Bear is fouled by Slothog.
Number 12, Kelly.
It's on Kelly. And just think, if Dakota State hadn't let 10 seconds run off the clock before finally electing the foul, this could have possibly been game. Gaines gets the inbound, and he's wrapped up and fouled by Kelly.
Number 12, Kelly.
That's his 3rd personal foul. There's still 1 more foul needed before the Indians are in the bonus. Gaines trapped in the backcourt. Gaines is fouled in front of the Dakota State bench. You don't want to risk having a 10-second backcourt violation with 11 seconds left, but from the look at Gary Garner's face, I'm not sure if he preferred one or the other. It's the 2nd foul on Limke, and that sends Trey Gaines to the free throw line, where he's 2 for 4 tonight. He missed it. Ladding the rebound, and the timeout taken by Dakota State. It's their final timeout. We have played 6 real minutes in this last minute of gameplay. 2 timeouts remaining for Haskell. So depending on what the Trojans draw up, this could very well be the final possession of the game. A 39% shooting effort by Dakota State tonight. Haskell at 41%. One thing to keep in mind, if there is a foul, both teams are in the bonus. Neither side shooting over 51%. Dakota State an even 50 at the line, and Haskell at 46. Talking about inconsistency earlier, both coaches were quick to point out some facets of how their losing streaks have continued Matthew Downing Jr. said it the best, just look at free throws over this 4-game span. Gary Garner didn't say the same, but he essentially said the same of a sentiment. Curious to see if Dakota State goes into the low post to Ronnie Ladding. He has been a matchup nightmare all night. Limke, Kelly, Muller, Slothog, and Ladding, the 5 on the court for Dakota State. Bryant, Strom, Gaines, Bear, King, and Spoonhunter for Haskell. 5 seconds left. Muller with 3. Muller fumbles. Jumper at the horn. Muller calls game. Sam Muller lost the rock and picked it up from inside the foul line. And Sam Muller sends Dakota State into 2023 to the tune of victory. The losing streak ends at 3. Haskell's skid extends to 5. The first ever meeting between both schools. Boy, did it have a finish. Dakota State improves to 6-9. Haskell falls to 4-10. We'll quickly come back with our final in-game box score analysis and get you set for the Bellevue Bruins and the Iowa Wesleyan Tigers in the women's bracket. Coming your way next. Dakota State puts a bow on its weekend in the 2022 Fairfield Inn by Marriott Classic, a 55-54 win. A Sam Muller buzzer-beating jumper, sending the Trojans into 2023 to the tune of victory. I'm Casey Roll. Let's look at our final stats. Dakota State from the field shooting 40%, Haskell 41. Dakota State 1 of 13 from 3, Haskell 4 of 17. The Trojans 50% from the line, and the Indians at 46%. Dakota State's leading scorer, Ronnie Ladding, had 16. Deshaun Kelly had 4. Manny Mtula had 4. Sam Muller with the game-winning jumper had 13 points. Brett Limke had 2. Jace Kelly had 3. Ethan Damrum had 2. Taylor Edwards had 2. And Ethan Slothog had 9. And for Haskell, a game-high 18 points for Bonzi King was not enough. Ira Blackbear had 6. Tate Bear had 8. Matt Anderson had 4. Trey Gaines had 6 off the bench. Mason Spoonhunter with 8. Camden Sequaquap Tua with 2. And Matt Anderson with 2. Derek Havern also with 2. Our final box score analysis for both teams. Dakota State next in action in the new year on January 6th against Valley City State in Madison. Meanwhile, Haskell next in action at Bacone College on the 7th in Muskogee, Oklahoma. That'll do it for us from the campus of Bellevue. Dakota State wins by 1. For Bellevue University game event manager Sean Malley, broadcast engineer Reese Malley, and camerawoman Regan Mallory, I'm Casey Roll saying so long, wishing you an early, happy new year as the end of 2022 continues to wind down. Bellevue women and Iowa Wesleyan coming your way next.